everyone. I recently did my first listen to Leonard Cohen singing his Hallelujah. And, well, I'm following the comments on YouTube and my platforms. So I see that many of you there's such an abundance of requests for two covers in particular. And so I've decided to do a special weekend focused on covers of Cohen's Hallelujah. Well, today the cover is going to be Jeff Buckley. Jeffrey Scott Buckley was an American musician. Buckley's cover of Leonard Cohen's Hallelujah became his first #1 on Billboard's Hot Digital Songs and reached #2 in the UK singles chart. Rolling Stone included Grace in its list of the 500 greatest albums of all time. I guess Grace must be the album on which this Hallelujah featured, right? And included Buckley in its list of the greatest singers. Okay, well, let's see. How does Jeff Buckley handle Hallelujah? Kind of an improvisatory prelude type opening.
There was a secret chord that David played and it pleased the Lord. But you don't really care for music, do you? Well, it goes like this: the fourth, the fifth, the minor fall and the major lift. The baffled king composing hallelujah, 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 hallelujah.
So American there.
Your faith was strong, but you needed proof. You saw her bathing on the roof. Her beauty in the moonlight overthrew you. She tied you to a kitchen chair. She broke your throat and she cut your hair. And from your lips she drew the hallelujah, 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 hallelujah.
This is so interesting to hear this performance of this piece. There are things that really stand out strong to me. At the same time, it feels so easy the way he sings it. So the introduction was kind of a long intro, wasn't it? And as I commented, it felt kind of like a sort of improvisatory, exploratory prelude, waiting for inspiration to strike. You know, like I just picked up my guitar, I'm checking the tuning, I'm getting my fingers finding the chords, and okay, yeah, I have this little tune running through my mind. We don't even exactly know what the tune is right away, because he starts by lining out the bass line and building chords off of the bass line, which is kind of nice, a very preludium type intro. And gradually he settles in. There was even that moment, what did he say? Mm-hmm, or huh, or some, I don't remember exactly, but some little vocal comment on, okay, we're settling in here. Yeah. Okay. And then and then it starts to settle more into tempo and start to take a bit of a shape. And once he's got that bass line really secure and locked in, then he comes in with his voice. He glides through this like a feather riding the airwaves. I mean, the air currents. It's just, it's so light. And I don't mean light meaning trite. I mean his voice, just every little current, every little rise and fall. It's so easy. It feels as smooth as a feather. And it felt a little bit funny when he got to the line, was it tied you to the kitchen chair, and then, and from your lips he drew hallelujah, something like that. And that line to me feels so much like it's pulling something out of you with effort, and then, but instead he just glides through, like the words are just tumbling out of you so easily. Hallelujah, it just fell out of you. It's hallelujah. And so that's the sort of feel I get. But I love this. It's not a really polished, in the modern sense of the word, performance, meaning there are places where it feels so spontaneous, so natural, so unplanned. In that way, it still feels a bit like he's just following where inspiration leads him in the moment. It's, his voice is riding the air currents, but there are places where I feel like, oh, he could drive that a bit harder, and we could really come to a grand climax there. But no, he just glides on and takes a different turn, and it feels so incredibly natural, spontaneous, and easy. That's how I am experiencing this, and it's such a different feel to Leonard Cohen's performance of it, isn't it?
She tied you to a kitchen chair. She broke your throat and she cut your hair. And from your lips she drew the hallelujah.
And you could just see the feather floating.
Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah.
It feels like he's going to drive it here, but no. Just so.
Baby, I've been here before. I've seen this room and I've walked this floor. You know, I used to live alone before I knew you. And I've seen your flag on the mall.
Did you hear how that bass line dropped out there as he started to become a little bit conversational in his delivery? So, an interlude here.
Baby, I've been here before. I've seen this room and I've walked this floor. You know, I used to live alone before I knew you.
I like the way he throws in that, you know.
And I've seen your flag on the marble arch. And love is not a victory march. It's a cold and it's a broken hallelujah. 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 Hallelujah.
That verse, as he made his way through it, I guess this is my first time hearing Jeff Buckley sing. this is my first time hearing him, and I love the ease and the spontaneity, the naturalness of it. The this is not a polished cinematic performance. This is very much in the moment feel. And he still manages to pack so much emotion into every corner of it. Um, as we start talking about the flag on the marble, it's the intensity, and yet he manages to express all of this without really becoming dramatic. Certainly not melodramatic, but there's this feeling of this is not an effort for him. He is not attempting to perform. He is not even performing. He is not acting. He's not presenting something to us, the audience. He's just in the moment. And because he's so in the moment and so easy, this might be a funny thing to say, but I've commented several times about how when I watch Freddie Mercury perform, his behavior on stage is such an embodiment of the music. It's different from some of the other live performances I've seen, other bands where they are responding to the music, but it feels like they are somehow it's not so spontaneous, and it's not so organic. It's not integral to the music. It's something that they bring in, and they are responding to the music rather than being this somehow magical manifestation embodiment of the music itself. I've talked about that with Freddie in other videos, and I'm not going to take that direction. But the reason I bring this up is because sometimes we hear an incredible performance by an amazing singer, a powerful interpretation of a piece of music. And it's moving and it pulls us in. But something about it feels like it is that performer's take or that performer's experience of things. Here, as I'm listening to Jeff Buckley and his singing, the way he just glides through and travels this hallelujah, I feel like he's kind of invisible in a good way. It's like we don't really hear him. We simply hear the song. And what he does with his voice is not him interpreting the song or responding, bringing his artistic vision to the music. It's just simply the song, the music. And I'm not saying that he doesn't have a vision. I'm not saying that, but somehow the way it feels when he delivers it is that sort of very, I could say, childlike, innocent approach of this is just simply how it is. For him, of course, because he is the artist, he is the performer, but still, we get this feeling. This is not something that was staged. This was not even something that was practiced. Sure, I know he practiced. I'm a musician. I know what it takes to deliver something so incredible like this. Of course he practiced, but it doesn't come across as being practiced or planned or developed. It's one of those incredibly magical performances where everything that happened to make it happen is invisible. And all we hear is this.
Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. there was a time when you let me know what's really going on below, but now you never show that to me, do you? Remember when I moved in you, and the holy dove was moving too, and every breath we drew was hallelujah.
The way his voice just responds to every little corner of the phrase. He colors it, but again without effort.
Maybe there's a God above, but all I've ever learned from love was how to shoot somebody who I drew, yeah. It's not a cry that you hear at night, it's not somebody who's seen the light, it's a cold and it's a broken hallelujah.
It's interesting.
Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Hallelujah.
Somebody there said, wow. Of course. I was just getting ready to say the same thing. What an incredibly special performance. I feel like saying it's a gem of a performance. It is so, so beautiful. It's so interesting listening to this now after having listened to a completely different piece by Mariah Carey and her cover, which was also a special weekend cover exploration. And when we did that special weekend, some of the comments as we were all listening together were, I remember one of the commenters said that Mariah Carey goes so far into what her voice can do, and I'm just kind of summarizing because I don't remember the quote exactly. In other words, she's using her range and her vocal skills at the expense of the music. In other words, it becomes more about what she can do than about what the music is. And I responded to that person saying, I don't know if I would go quite so far as to say that, because it all comes down to one's vision of the piece. But listening to Jeff Buckley here now, I have to say I am so incredibly impressed with his vocal skill and ability. It's amazing. It's really incredible what he can do and what he does in this song. The changes in tone, the timbre, the color, the way he responds to every little part of the piece, the nuances he brings in, just suddenly, unexpectedly. But none of it detracts from the experience of the piece itself. As I was saying, he is kind of invisible in some ways. And I find that incredibly impressive. And I guess I feel like this is a good moment to say again that as a musician, I put incredibly high value on competence and skill, because technique and the ability to do all these different things are what enable us to express most fully what our artistic vision of a piece of music is. Having said that, I really loathe the virtuosic show off, worshiping of skill and technical brilliance at the expense of music. That's why sometimes you hear me incredibly moved by a piece sung by somebody who may not be really, really awe-inspiring in perhaps their vocal range or instrumental technique, but whatever they bring to the piece is so perfect for that piece. On the other hand, sometimes you hear me listen to a piece sung by some incredible performer, and I enjoy it. There's nothing wrong with it, but you don't hear me just falling over myself to praise the person's vocal range or virtuosic prowess, because for me, that's not what it's about. And so while I appreciate and I have high value for competence and skill and everything that it takes to achieve what we set out to achieve, for me, in the end, it is all about the artistry and the delivery of that, the communication of that to the audience. And how does that performer connect to the audience? How is the music brought to me to be meaningful and memorable in a good way? And so when I compliment Jeff Buckley and his vocal skill, I'm complimenting him on how, not just the fact that he's incredibly skilled. I can hear the skill, but it's not about that. It's about how incredibly delicately and refined and masterfully he applies it to Hallelujah, even to the point that we forget about mastery and we just enjoy this journey of a feather traveling through the air on the currents as they come and go and take us places that there were moments in the piece where certain things stood out to me that hadn't stood out before, certain phrases, a certain word, a certain thought, simply because of how he shaped it. And I've talked about this before also, how an artist delivers the piece can have a huge impact on what the message is and what we gain from experiencing that piece. And so this was an incredible listening experience for me. I have to say that Jeff Buckley has just shot up high in my estimation, and I would love to explore more of his music in the future, because now I am just, I want to hear more of what he does and to see, was this just a one-off? Because sometimes it is, and that's okay. Or does he bring this sort of beauty and perfectly balanced approach to a lot of his music? I mean, nobody's perfect, right? And we all have our preferences as well, but this is incredibly exciting to me to hear, and I will be returning to him in the future. That was my first experience of Jeff Buckley's voice and singing, and my first time, of course, hearing him sing Leonard Cohen's Hallelujah. I'll see you soon.